Welcome to the Real Chat Podcast,
where we talk business, lifestyle, and mindset.
For the modern entrepreneur.
I'm Baxter Colburn.
I'm Allison Elise.
I'm Mandi Wilkie. Let's chat.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Real Chat Podcast. I'm Allie, and today we have a very special guest, a amazing boss woman, due with a baby in like 5 days. She's my sister, Dr. Sadey Broker, DC.
What's up?
Doctor of Chiropractic. Allie didn't.
For Riley, so I feel bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for being here, Sadie.
I mean, she didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on.
From having a baby.
Yeah, right.
Nothing else going on in her life.
That's how I roll. We'll figure it out,
I
right?
feel like we
I
have to
agree
ask
with
the
that.
question, how are you feeling? How you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, I feel good. I just have those weird pregnancies where they just kind of rock and roll, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm in labor now. Okay.
Like,
so I go from, feeling like a 10 out of 10 to not.
Yeah.
But
Then
so
you
far,
know
it's
it's go
going good.
time, right?
Exactly.
And
Yep.
you're finishing out this work week.
I am.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
like your
So
last
get
day.
in and see Dr. Sadie this
Yeah,
week.
right.
So her
go.
last day
This
of work
won't air
is
until she's had the
Friday.
baby.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, Friday you guys are closed. Thursday, and then your due date's Sunday.
Yeah.
But
And then it's Christmas.
you're
I'm
a
actually
home
just hoping for a
birther, so-
January baby.
Oh, wow.
So-
Yeah.
Gonna push it up?
Can we just say no?
Yeah.
I'm a January baby, and people just forget about you.
I mean, but they're gonna forget about.
I'm a January baby.
end
Yeah,
of-
before Christmas,
end of
after
December
Christmas.
isn't any better.
Yeah, you're right. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, baby. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, baby.
he'll come when he'll
Yeah,
come.
yes,
he'll come when he's ready.
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I love
Isaiah
that.
was almost 3 weeks over, so
Yeah.
Oh,
see what
wow.
happens.
Yeah.
Oh, well then it's
One of those
February,
weirdos
baby.
that just let things cook,
Yeah.
February, Fine. Valentine's Day or bust.
That's healthy, but
I love
I'm
it.
no doctor.
So if this initial conversation doesn't make you already want to know who she is, if you don't already, Sadie, do you want to tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Other than
Because by
being
the end of
5
this,
days out.
everybody's going to be wanting to know who you are and following
Correct.
you.
Really good bus driving.
Yeah.
Proud of her.
So I'm a chiropractor. I'm a pediatric and family chiropractor. I own Lux Life Chiropractic right across the street.
I love it.
In downtown De Pere. And I have had that practice for almost 5 years. I've been graduated for almost 8, which is crazy to think of these numbers. Like, you just think about it and you're like, wow, I'm getting old. I was talking, a new patient came in yesterday.
It's a terrible thing to say to someone my age.
Sorry, Mandi, you're going to really
It's
hate
okay.
this
You look
comment because
great.
I looked at her paperwork and her paperwork said 40 and I was like, oh. And then I was like, shit, I'm not far from that.
This is a PG podcast, and we're no longer friends.
Wow.
40, and you think
know.
she's like
And
half a
that's-
foot in the grave.
My point is that clearly I'm thinking I'm younger than I really am because I'm not far off from 40, but 40 feels old.
Yeah.
So I'm getting old.
Well, growing up,
Well-
our dad always said he's 29 forever. And now
yeah.
we're starting to kind of feel that. Well,
Yeah,
I'm 30, but it's like,
You're
I see it
getting
now.
closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah,
I
right.
understand.
Wait till you're 48. I mean, it's all downhill after that.
I mean, it's fine.
That's the downhill point. Okay.
I feel like
Wonderful.
everybody says the 40s are really when life gets really good. Like you're the most financially stable. You're the most it's your income raising.
I think I missed that in my 40s.
Everybody says that. I don't know if that's. I'm just gonna hold on to that. Okay.
Yeah.
If there's
Yeah.
a big
Probably shouldn't go through a divorce then, because that does,
There's that. There's
a
that
number
for
on the
sure.
finances. But anyway,
But anyways, no. So we take care of lots of kids and families. It is our bread and butter, and it is my favorite thing because every single day I go to work, I get to take care of families that maybe are thinking of health differently, that are, in my opinion, generationally changing what health and wellness looks like for their families, and that is what I am so passionate about. So
Yeah.
that's what we do.
And you're amazing.
yeah.
I get adjusted weekly. I'm so lucky that you're my sister. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Family.
I mean, there are other amazing qualities about you. I don't know what I would do
Number one
without you.
is
number one. Correct.
I think so. Sadie, we were partners.
Yeah.
We partnered when you had like beams over
my
there,
goodness.
and
Yeah.
it was concrete floors, and it was just like brand new out of the gate. We partnered, and you're always welcome to come back. I'd love to have you as a partner.
I know.
But the
Let my
one-
life calm down and we'll revisit.
Yeah. One thing that I know that I've heard over and over again about people that have come to you is number one, like it's this place that doesn't feel like a medical office, right? But number two, just the things that you tackle that so many parents struggle with these things and they think that they're normal. Mm-hmm. It's normal for my kid to be colic. It's normal for my kid to wet the bed. It's normal for my kid not to sleep sleep at night. It's normal for them not to want to eat. And you help them understand that these things don't have to be their normal.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I think the one thing that you've done so incredibly well with is just putting yourself out there on social media in a fun way, but also in a way where people are like, they may, and we talked about this when we partnered, like maybe they didn't see something in the magazine that really got them, but maybe they followed you on social media from that.
Yeah.
And then you spoke to something that they were like, I need Sadey in my life because this is something I've been struggling with, or, you know, my child's not paying attention, and then not only are you helping these kids, but you've become this huge resource for parents to feel like they're not alone in the battle. And you weren't even a mom yet.
Yeah, totally. When
Right?
I started, yeah, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about your passion for not only fixing or helping children, but also then giving the parents a safe place to come and say, I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do.
Oh man, might be the whole podcast. Is this answer?
Perfect. My job here is done.
There you go. Right, Mandi wins. Well, first off, I want to really quick make a comment on the first thing you said of it not looking or feeling like a medical office. I'll get to your other questions, I promise. But when I sought out to start a practice, the number one thing I wanted to do was change and revolutionize what chiropractic looks like to people. Right?
Yep.
Because when you think of chiropractic, most people think of back pain, neck pain, sciatica. I'll go for headaches. And that's pretty much where it starts and stops. Not that aesthetically you need to be able to walk into a practice and be like, oh, this is like Instagrammable to feel like it's revolutionized. But there's a certain level of that aesthetic, of that feel, of that presence, of what you feel when you walk into a place and space that absolutely corresponds with really what they're trying to do in the world. And for me, I was like, I don't want chiropractic to be all about back and neck pain. I also don't want chiropractic to be a 70-year-old in a white coat with carpeted walls, and then you bill your insurance and you get the same 7 adjustments every time and you go about your
It's
day.
3 minutes, start to finish.
Totally.
3 minutes.
And that, and so revolutionizing chiropractic to me starts with, hey, I want to create a space where people feel comfortable, welcome, where they get greeted the moment they walk in, where they feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And then I want that to continue into the care that they receive and into the resources we provide, which is a perfect, kind of like entrance into that next part of your question. Because I've always had a passion for kids. Growing up, I thought, well, I'll be a pediatrician or I'll be an OBGYN. And it was always medical because that's really all we knew. We grew up in the traditional medical model. So people ask me that all the time. Well, how'd you get into chiropractic? And that's a story for maybe later. But when it comes to building a practice, I wanted my office to be able to really echo and be able to speak into children first, children and then families, right?
Yeah.
And so I started at an office in Illinois that catered to pediatrics, and I really learned so much. I gained specializations and certifications and extra, letters, I guess I was going to say letters behind my name that give me those specialties and things to be able to know how to help kiddos. And I think the thing that you said, Mandi, that I want to cover really quick too, is parents feel like these things are normal for their kids. It's normal for my kid to not be able to sit in a desk, which that one may be true, but it's normal for my kid to have 6 ear infections on top of one another. It's normal for my kids to, scream bloody murder when we go into a space that they're not comfortable in. It's normal for my kid to run out in the middle of traffic. It's normal for my child to not sleep. It's normal for my baby to scream for 6 hours. Normal might be true, but guess what?
Doesn't have to be that
way.
way.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, no, it's common, not normal. Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing I want people to understand. It is so freaking common in a world that is more overstimulated, busier, has harder, crazier pressures on kids, that is more truly toxic than ever before, and more stressful than ever before, not just for adults, but for kids alike. Those things are so freaking common. You go into a classroom and the numbers are staggering. You look at anxiety, ADHD, depression.
Everybody has a diagnosis.
Everybody's got, it's alphabet soup out there. ADHD, OCD, ADD. You could go through the list and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what half of those things mean. And so the struggles of kids are so real, and it is freaking common, not normal.
I love that.
Our kids are not normally supposed to struggle the way that they are and the way that they do. And so I wanted to be a freaking lighthouse. I wanted to be a light in the darkness for those kids, but also those parents, because that struggle that child has becomes a ripple effect through the whole family.
Yeah.
It impacts the siblings, because the siblings are, hey, well, I don't get this much attention because I don't have a hard time focusing in school. It becomes a problem for the parents. They're walking on eggshells because they don't know what their emotionally dysregulated child's going to look like that day. It creates problems for marriages. It creates problems for, hey, we probably can't go to Christmas this year because my extended family might judge how my child acts.
Yeah.
Or we can't go to this public place, or we
Or
can't
go on an airplane,
participate 100%.
or
And I hear it day in and day out. So I know this was a long answer, but really, like, I just wanted to be something that's different, because what's working, what's out there right now is not working.
Yeah.
I think our kids are sicker than ever before. Our kids are more stressed out than ever before. And our families, because of that, are also sicker and more stressed out. So I wanted to be a beacon of light. I wanted to be a safe place, and that's what we've created.
Yeah.
Not only is chiropractic offering and lending something so different to these children, but it's repairing families.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a resource to the families because they need it.
I love
Yeah,
that.
and it's literally built in the name.
Yeah. Lux.
Lux. It means light.
Yeah. Funny story.
So
I learned that 5 years ago from you.
And it might be, I don't remember where this started, but I did a video when I first opened Lux Life, because somebody had told me that they thought Lux meant luxury.
Oh.
And I mean, I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even think about that. Like,
Yeah.
You're like,
I don't want
we're not
people
luxury.
to-
We're not. Just disclaimer.
Come as you are,
Not
please.
a luxury
Oh my
chiropractor.
gosh, yeah. It is the coolest thing ever to see how many people prioritize and value endlessly nervous system centered chiropractic care at Lux Life.
It's true.
Because it is not luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, there are families that literally decide. I just had a family the other day. This could make me cry. They told me
We've already
6
cried
days
enough
a
today.
week.
We're not doing it. Okay, go ahead.
They eat sandwiches 6 days a week because her husband works at Festival and they get discounts off of lunch meat. And so they eat sandwiches 6 days a week. And then 1 day a week, they choose where to go for dinner. And the little girl was like, I don't want to have sandwiches for dinner tonight. And the mom was like, it's a sacrifice that we make for the other things that really, really are very important to us. And the mom looked at me and was like, one thing is chiropractic. We will never give it up. And I was
Wow.
like, holy crap.
wow. Yep.
Wow.
I mean, what?
That moment.
Like I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
you think about it, and there are other people that are like, yeah, I'm going to go spend $5,000 on a bag, a Louis Vuitton, because, and hey, get it, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
right.
some
Do you.
people's priorities are skewed one way, and some people's priorities are very skewed another.
Yeah.
And that was just an example of a family that I was like, wow, your values are so centered around your family's health and wellness, and that's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, and this
it doesn't mean luxury, it means light.
Yeah. And I shouldn't say anything more because I already asked my question and she talked a lot. But one thing that I know that you are very good about is you give back a lot to the people that support your business, whether it's through a fall festival or whether it's through, I know you did gift bags 1 year and you do a lot of that stuff. So
Father's
I can already
Day.
see my wheels spinning going like, I wonder what Sadie's going to do for that little girl someday. Right? Like just because, I mean, imagine what a meal would be to her.
Totally.
And what a difference that would make outside of what you're already doing in her life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love that.
I think that's an important part
Even
of
the-
entrepreneurship.
Like, I'm obviously biased because she's my sister and our mom works for her full time too. So I've seen the business be built. I was very close to going to school to be like a CA for her when she opened up, because that's how much I saw her passion pour into it. And it was like contagious, but that's what she brings to our immediate community too, is this contagious energy of, I want to take control of my health. Like if you are not gifting somebody this year, like health and wellness, you should think about it, because it's so cool, the wins and the successes that you have gone through in just even your short amount of time of being Lux Life Chiropractic in De Pere, Wisconsin, the wins that you have like had. And I want you to talk about one that stands out to you in this world, because we need that like success, and we want to hear about those really big wins, because in business, there's a lot of times, and I know you've had hardships. I know that there have been a lot of things thrown your way. Some that are just natural causes that you can't decide, you can't control those things. But on the top of your head, or if you've thought about this for a while, what is just a big win that you've seen in your business?
Oh my goodness. I could go on forever. And that is the coolest part. I mean, we have the words expect miracles in our office because we expect them at this point, right? It's what happens when you remove the interference from the nervous system. Like when your body and brain can talk optimally to one another. Well, hell yeah, cool things are going to happen. So I mean, every single week we have a wins channel in our communication, app that we all use, and it's just constant, right? So I mean, they go from huge to kids saying their first words, where previously you thought maybe they were never going to hit that developmental milestone. A kiddo, one of the coolest, and it's actually on our Instagram if you want to go look, but a CP kiddo we take care of that needed a walker his whole life. He's 8. Took his first steps in our waiting room.
Wow.
Yep. That's so amazing.
We've got...
If that's not Instagrammable, I don't know what is. I love it.
We've got TBIs, so traumatic brain injuries that we take care of. We've got a kid that travels from Fond du Lac that's completely wheelchair bound. And, he unfortunately suffered a medical error issue. And so without getting into too much detail, he will never walk or talk again. But the fact that he is able to, even things like poop normally, sleep well, smile and giggle at his family and his siblings. I mean, those are like life-changing moments, right? Yeah. And we see those things all the time. IEPs being dropped in school, right? Like teachers and PTs and OTs and specialists around these kids just being able to literally be like, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then again, that continued miracle that continues through the family, where parents are getting along better, and siblings are. It is just truly like a family affair. It's when you remove that stress from that one kiddo, how that is echoed through the whole family is so cool. So I guess I without going too crazy, I'd just say, miracles that happen every single day.
The things that seem small.
Yep.
Are like those wins that just are, they keep pushing you to keep on and keep on and keep reaching. And one day you'll own your whole huge own plot of land with all the infinite amount of doctors. Because in my opinion, I think you're like the best chiropractor in the world. If you don't have a chiropractor, you should probably talk to her.
Everybody needs a chiropractor.
Yep.
It's the truth. You don't think you do. And I think that's the thing. I was just talking to one of my patients who's a dentist, and I'm like, I pray and I'm on this earth to hope for the fact that chiropractic could maybe become what dentistry has become. And I know that sounds funny, but nobody doesn't have a dentist.
Right.
Everybody's got a dentist. And believe it or not, dentistry was as much of a hoax as people at one point thought chiropractic was. And chiropractic has a really cool history. People have been jailed and imprisoned for being chiropractors.
Wow.
Because the medical establishments have tried to shut them down so many different times. And, without getting too crazy in that conversation, we know why that happens, right? Because truly chiropractic is about restoring health and allowing for the body to do what it's supposed to do without any external sources. So, anyways, everybody does need a chiropractor, and I am biased because I am one, but I truly believe that that's the truth. And
I agree with that.
I believe the future is bright for it as well.
Yeah.
I have to ask where the entrepreneur bug bit both you and your sister. I don't know enough about your other sister because there's 3 of you, right?
There's 4 girls, and then we have a brother too.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it just the 2 of you that are business owners, or what's the?
2 of us.
Just the 2 of us. Our brother is a real estate agent, but
Dad's a realtor, right?
yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
where do you think that came from? Because both of you are in careers that are very hands-on. You've given a lot of your life to that and have found good success. And let's not sleep on the fact you guys literally do business across the street from each other, which is amazing.
Dream. Yeah.
Yeah, like talk to us.
Do you guys want to go to lunch today?
Right.
Can I
Just, like,
deliver?
hang
We
out.
wave at each other.
Yeah.
Stand in the
I'll take
window.
videos of her and zoom in on her, like in her window. Hello.
I love that. But where do you think that came? Was it a family member? Was it a friend? Like, where does that come from?
There's definitely entrepreneurship in our family. Our grandpa was not only just an innovator, but started a steel fabrication company. And so then our mom took that over from him, and my dad works there. And so there's entrepreneurship elements and influences.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add to that.
Both have a
I agree
passion
with
for
that.
people, right?
Yeah. And we are, I think that's built into our blood, like the personability aspect too. And kind of like, I feel like you for sure, I used to share a bedroom with Sadey, and we were on like bunk beds, and I was on the top bunk and she was on the bottom bunk. And while she was reading her Bible and talking to herself or whatever, and I would be like playing with my Barbies above or whatever, but she would always be Dr. Sadey. Like whenever we would play house, whenever we would like do anything ever, it was always Dr. Sadey. Like at one point I remember, like, this is hilarious, but in our grandma's old house, we used to like, I loved figure skating, and we would pretend to do like figure skating in her living room and stuff like that. I can
see where this is going.
Yeah. And just like, we would always like play each other's games back and forth. But even when we were doing the figure skating, like in my eyes and in my brain, she was always Dr. Sadey. And then when we were growing up, and it was like, she was a senior in high school when I was a freshman, and we went to high school together for 1 year. And I have always seen her as that. And I was always a very like independent. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew that I didn't want to be in, college. I didn't want to be in high school even, but I think that mindset came from a little bit of watching her as well, and being in that space where you knew what you wanted to do. And I always loved doing my own thing as well. So I feel like that's just kind of built into who we are. And as we've matured and as we've grown up together, I would say she's influenced me that way a lot, because I've always looked up to you in that way, where it's like, oh my gosh, she's going to college and she's doing all these things. And I've always just had a camera in my hand, but I feel like that was just my calling, maybe.
So nonchalantly.
I know, but
just a camera.
It's
It was a camera.
Just
my tiny
I
little
feel like
job.
I had my
was
own
just-
business when I was like
16.
14 or something. Yeah. She also has influenced
That
me.
was my calling, I feel like.
For sure.
I picked it up and I just felt at home, kind of like how you've always known that you were going to be a doctor. Whatever that looked like. At first I thought she was going to like perform big surgeries and deliver babies and all these things. And then when she decided to go to chiropractic school, it all made sense and it all aligned. And that was a really cool thing to see.
Well, and I don't remember if it was the three of us or if it was you and I before we started today talking about thoughts becoming things and speaking things into the universe.
Yeah.
Man.
Like literally from the time you were little, you were just speaking into the universe.
I was 3. I always said doctor.
100%.
Always said doctor.
I love that.
And that is like manifesting is real. If you don't believe in that, something's wrong with you. But
I love that.
I agree with that.
It just is true.
I agree with
Very
that.
true. And I mean, from a very little age, I think like doctor to me means helper, right?
Right.
And also doctor, truly in the Latin sense means teacher. And that's like one of the coolest things to me too, that I get to do, I think, in so much more of a traditional setting at Lux, because, as a chiropractor, I have the ability every single time. Most people see me somewhere between 1 and 3 days a week. And so I have people that have literally been with me since the very beginning that I see every single week, and tell me that's not a teaching moment. I mean, I see them more than,
Their
people, I get
spouses.
invited
You
to
hang out.
birthday
Yeah,
parties.
right?
I see babies take their first steps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Babies
they
right after
bring
they're
in their-
born.
Yeah. I mean, I've
Before
it's-
they're born and right after
totally,
their
absolutely.
earth side.
Yeah.
That's what Sadie says.
That is my favorite sentence. So there's just so many cool things that I get to be a part of. And teacher, that allows me to be not only a leader for so many of them and a server, I get to serve them, but I get to teach them.
Yeah.
And I think that when you see somebody so frequently, you get to really have a very, very vital impact on what they learn. And I think one thing, I will just toot my own horn here for a second, because
Please.
when you are in the space of a provider role, it's very easy to just try and influence everything that person does, especially when it comes to their family's health, because maybe I live my life a certain way, especially when it comes to my child. Maybe I feed them certain things, or I stay away from certain things, or I add certain things or whatever. And you would think it'd be really easy to just teach them only what you do.
For sure.
And to me, that's not a provider.
Right.
I think a provider values patient-centered care and really is very unbiased in how a family decides to lead their family.
Yeah.
So if a mom and dad decides to do something that maybe isn't what I would do, I'm not the one teaching them differently.
Yeah.
I'm the one asking them questions and supporting them and holding space for them as they make those decisions. And if they need advice or guidance or support in ways moving forward, then I'm the first person hopefully they come to if they need or desire doing things a different way.
Yeah.
But anyways, Dr. means teacher,
Yeah.
and that was my side note there.
I think it's cool because in that role that you possess too, there's a business aspect of it where you run a very, very successful business. And we love to speak to like those people out there that are trying to start a business, that are entrepreneurs, that are maybe failing or maybe having huge successes like you.
Yeah.
What is 1, 2, or 3 things that you would give in an advice form to the entrepreneur or business owner that's in the starting phases or just in that, I guess, realm of business?
Oof. My number one thing, and I don't mean to sound like negative because that's not me, but my number one thing is like, it's going to be freaking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just prepare for it. Hard easy, man. It really is. And maybe not hard easy. You just get better. You get bigger problems, right? And you just get better at solving them. But it's going to be hard. People see entrepreneurship and they think flexibility of hours, freedom with like what they do, how they do it, how much or how little of it that they do.
They must be making a fortune.
They must be making so much money. Yeah,
She doesn't even work on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Or Fridays.
Yeah.
Or Fridays.
But like, it's gonna be freaking hard. I like to say hard fought, hard earned. And so in the entrepreneurship realm, you have to be ready to kick butt. You have to be ready to take punches because you're gonna.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready to take the punch on the left and turn to the right and keep going.
Yeah.
And I think so just be prepared for the hard.
Yeah.
Like, know it's going to be hard. Don't let it scare you. I always say, do it scared. I need to stop taking Instagram pictures in my bathroom because it never leaves my bathroom mirror. I write affirmations on my bathroom mirror and the do it scared never leaves because that's the one sentence to me that embraces all of life. Most
true.
of the shit you do is scary. I mean,
Yes.
because it's out of your comfort zone. If you're doing life
If you're
big,
trying to grow.
most things are out
If you're
of your
trying to grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so entrepreneurship is like the first, when I think of scary things, of course entrepreneurship fits into that bucket, right?
Yeah.
Because you are you're going off the trunk and stepping onto the skinny branch, and that's scary. But if you know, hey, this is going to be hard, and I'm prepared for hard, then you go into it and you just know I'm doing this. And then guess what? It's normally not as hard as you really think it is in the beginning. You
Right.
just
Totally.
prepare yourself for that.
Yep.
And so just be ready to work hard and then be ready to gobble up the what's the right word? The things that come from that, because when you work hard, you earn hard. And so there's a lot of great, awesome things that come on the other side of that working hard. And so I think that's my biggest thing. Like, know it's going to be hard, but know that through working hard and really, pushing through that adversity, because that's what it is. On the other side, it's so dang sweet,
Yeah.
and so just embrace it. I think back to my early parts of entrepreneurship, and I mean, 5, 6, 7 days a week, I was getting coffee with a new business owner, I posted a video every single day. And they were like dumb topics. I would just be like, hey guys,
Yeah.
it's like, you just
Dr.
think back
Sadey
to that,
here.
like, what's up?
Yeah.
I also think of the nights and days I put in, I
Yeah.
have Tuesdays and Fridays off now, but I was at that office by 6 a.m. and I didn't leave until 8.
Yep.
And if that meant that I had to take a new patient wherever they had to fit, I took a new patient
it.
wherever I had to put them.
Yep.
And so I just worked and worked and worked, and I knew it was going to be hard. I remember because Allie mentioned our mom works with me, and so she started the practice with me, and I
Then you
remember
fired her. I'm just kidding.
I promoted her to granny nanny.
Yeah, Granny. She had to take a better role, get a better opportunity.
Yeah. She's back with us now.
Yeah.
But we'll be leaving again
Yeah.
to take granny nanny again. But I remember her saying to me because she left a job that she was working at, I always knew she'd come, but she said, well, what if it doesn't work out? And I was literally, without skipping a beat, she still tells this story. I said, well, it's going to. So there's nothing else to think about.
Thanks, Mom.
Yep.
Yeah, for
because
being my
failure wasn't an
cheerleader.
option. It's going to work out. It's going to be good.
Our mom she leads a little
love
bit with
your mom.
anxiety.
She
We love
does.
her so much. She leads first with love, but anxiety is always the
Creeps in.
wind in the wind.
She's got the logic.
Yes, yeah.
I think someone does.
And I
Yeah.
did not get an ounce of that from my mother. So I just was like, no.
No.
It's
gonna
amazing how
succeed. Like that's just
Yep.
what it's gonna be.
yeah, it's amazing how well plan A works when you don't have a plan B.
Totally.
Yeah.
You don't have an option. You have to
true.
make plan A
Right.
work. We all had a plan A with no plan B, I
Yeah.
think, at one point in our
Yeah.
journey to entrepreneurship.
I love it.
I went big, I
Yeah,
went
you
big
did.
with the square footage, with the
Which is outgrown
Main
pretty
Street.
much.
Oh, yeah.
If they could just build,
if anybody knows of a nice space that I could buy,
just
that'd
put
be
that
great.
into the universe.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manifest.
We
No,
love,
but-
love having you here. Love talking
Thank
with
you.
you. I love hearing this side of it because I watched it grow into what it is now, and I get to see and know a lot of your patients, and I've had a lot of your patients become my clients too, which is
Absolutely.
really
And vice
cool,
versa.
and vice versa. So it's like a really good connecting point, and I know that we all value each other so much, and I love having and hearing your story from that perspective in this setting. And for those that are listening that don't know where to find you on social media, could you just give us a little bit of a
Where I'm at?
where you're at? Let us know.
At Dr. Sadey, Sadey. Thank you, Mom and Dad. For
Doctor
making that
first, in
very-
case you missed that
forget
part.
that.
Doctor.
DR.
Very good.
That's on Instagram. And then, Lux Life Chiropractic on Facebook and Instagram.
Also on the TikTok.
Not really.
on the
No.
TikTok.
Well, I think you do
TikTok.
TikTok type stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. I
And
do
Reels.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reels. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's on just one more platform.
Yeah.
But
And
you
then-
guys are funny.
Yeah.
You're funny. It's fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
them.
you guys are good.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah.
Maybe I'll start transferring.
And then if you're somebody that's looking for a chiropractor,
Yes.
you
Dr.
can also
Sadey.
yeah,
S-A-D-E-Y.
look them up on
Doctor.
Google.
You can stalk my reviews and things if you'd like.
Yeah.
But most often,
Yeah.
the favorite way for people to come in is they normally know somebody that comes.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing to be a referral-based business too, as I know many of you are. So
Super cool.
Makes a difference.
Do we need to wrap it, or do we have time for one more question, or do we need to wrap it?
I think we got to wrap.
We got to wrap it up.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry. But thank you so much for being here, Sadie.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for having me.
yes.
Yeah.
You were awesome. You're amazing.
And
I
by
love
the
hearing it.
time
I could talk forever.
this airs, Sadie will have a new baby in her arms.
Yep.
Yeah. So
She holds out for February.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. Thanks for being here,
Thank-
Sadie.
Yeah. Thank you guys again. We'll see you next time.